Hello everyone, my name is Lance090 and welcome back to Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. So, we just did a bunch of science on the ground. There is a lot more science to grab here, because all of these areas all have their own science, as well as the KSC landing zone. And then, not going too much farther out, you're actually on the shore. And there's grassland over there. Water, of course. There's lots of stuff that's just on the ground nearby that we could go to. I'm not going to waste our time anymore. There's more efficient things we can build later. Get all that. But now, I think we have all the parts we need to be able to escape the atmosphere pretty safely. Reach the atmosphere by flying a vessel of an altitude of 70,000 meters to achieve this goal. Don't have to go into orbit if we don't want to. We probably could, but we have. More science, and of course we'll be grabbing a lot of science on the way. So, let's grab build our first real serious spaceship. Or we could do it in two steps. We could do one launch just into the atmosphere with this kind of thing. But, we might as well go all the way. So, there's a problem to the surface bay, which is we have to open up to get a peek at all these parts. But there is a new feature in the game, which we will try to use, which is we can open this up on the launch pad, and then open up these in their own tabs, and you can pin the tabs so that they don't close when you scroll away. So we can do that before we launch, and then we'll be able to collect data as we go. So it'll be very multitasking to do. So we're going to want to return all of this. This is probably going to need a heat shield. I think we have a heat shield. Because we're going out of the atmosphere, and this first out of the atmosphere hop is actually really intense. You want to think it, since it's so early in, but it's actually harder to return from this than it is to return from going into a complete orbit, which we might be able to do. It looks like we're going to go into orbit. I think I might pop out of the ship view, and go back to the Kerbal Space Center and take the contract to go into orbit. Guess that will not be my intention going in here. What the difference between these two is. I mean, this one has a little bit more stuff in it. Two of these. Kind of strange. Guess just to give your rocket more options of how it looks. Yeah, let's grab. Yeah, we only have the one kind of engine. Yeah. We need a smaller engine to really build the orbiter piece. We need to make a 2-stage rocket, technically, to do that. It has been a while since I've played, so I don't know exactly how much force we're gonna need. We don't have FAR on. FAR does make rockets easier to launch, but it does not make makes planes harder. Electric charge required, but not generated. Actually, this should have an alternator in it. Transmit science, unused monopropellants. That is true. We're hauling this monopropellant around that we don't need. Life support. The life support's gonna be fine. Have all stuff. You might want drogue chutes. Just to be safe. Like I said, this non-orbiting vessel will actually have a bit of a rough time. And put one more. I think that can do it. Now I need a name for this thing. Call it the Valor 1 spacecraft. Very simple design. We should put fins on this one, actually. Still don't need a transmitter. Need life support. Sorry, it'll take me a little bit to remember where everything is in this menu. 3 or 4. Okay. Staging is correct. It is not. Ah, it keeps... I don't want these selected. Go away. Why is it pulling them off? Oh wait, no, that's not. It's like a drop down. This... Engine, separation. These will disappear when we separate. Drogue chutes, main parachute. Alright. Let's go. Not only is this a 64-bit version, but it's also running on my solid state drive. So that should mean the game runs a little bit quicker than it would normally. Don't know if this will be enough. It should be. Let's do our thing. Goo, temperature, and power. Very handy. Very, very, very handy. Anything we should do on the launch pad before we launch? Very easy to forget things in this game. A lot of stuff to keep track of. I think we're good to go. I don't know if we need 100% thrust or not. It's our SAS. I also don't quite remember the descent pattern that you should be using. I think you basically wanted to get to 100 meters per second at 1,000. We are flying. Pressure data. Ooh. Take it. Can't EVA yet. I might not want to pop all this. Might not want to pop all this in low orbit. The higher up we go, the better science we'll get. How are we doing? Good. Not going too fast. I'll have to read a thing about how fast you're supposed to go. Did lose our... Some of the tabs did fall down, even though they shouldn't have. I don't know if we're supposed to deploy the parachute. I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. Our thing might not be aerodynamically stable. A high atmosphere, definitely deserve one of the mystery views at least. Keep that. Did we make it to space? Yes, we did. A pretty good margin, actually. I was didn't have enough confidence in myself. We can't EVA. We're in space now. Yeah, we can't EVA, which is actually a pain in the butt. Near Kerbin. Data. Okay, we do a... I don't remember which button is quick save. Looks like we can't find out here. Let's do the save. And I will go to the Space Center. We're not going to take the orbit contract because we're not going to make it. We're going to upgrade the astronaut complex. More EVAs. Go back to the tracking station. Got it. Back to Valor 1 and fly it. I know, unrealistic. We suddenly have the ability to... We launched him without the ability to do an EVA, and now suddenly he can do an EVA. Problem is we don't have SAS other than being a pilot. So it is a little scary to send him out here. Especially when we're not in orbit, because we're on a timer. Got it. Your temperature scan. Playing with fire here. Temperature scan while in space. Near Kerbin. Data. Ideally, we even want to pop out of here one more time. Instrument reads 0 as if it were a vacuum. A very short amount of time left before we re-enter the atmosphere here, so this is... Click it. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I was playing with fire. Sorry I had to get quiet there. I was having trouble. Okay, let's get things pointed where they need to be. Okay. That was riskier than it needed to be. Upper atmosphere. I'm not going to be able to get other information from the inner atmosphere. I wish I had left those pins tabbed. I'm in pretty hot here. See how fast we're heading towards the surface. That's why these non-orbital launches are really scary. Come in really fast. Waiting for our drogue chutes to show up as okay. Okay, we did it. We did it, Reddit. Like I said, this first launch is harder than the other ones, because from now on you're going to go into orbit first. So there's you a lot more time to slow down. Unfortunately, we didn't get to get our high atmosphere data for temperature and barometer, but we can still get the flying data. Now we wait. This work can affect the structurability of larger ships. This one's pretty small though. Oh, at what altitude those ones deployed? Because I would have been going at a slower time acceleration. Slow down for 1,000 meters, because it should be when the big one deploys fully. There we go. Now we are drifting down extremely slowly. To the point where it's almost tempting to EVA Jebediah and get a flying report. But probably end very poorly. We did get the high atmosphere EVA report. Always a little bit of a risky one to grab. Especially in that situation. I really should have saved it for a orbital return. And we slowly drift down. Actually standing straight. Let's see. Yay. Take data, store experiments. A report from Kerbin's water. Experiment, board. Report. Water. Experiment. And all the data we can. Normally this would be a bad idea in real life to open this up. Have to get out and get it. Data. Can't rerun those goo containers, unfortunately, not without a scientist. Right now we really have to use our pilots until we can get some automated SAS. I'm not sure what data it's referring to. Now I can get 2 more. Hope we didn't get rid of something important. I don't think so. Just some kind of experiment we already collected, hopefully. Recover the vessel. Should have a shit ton of science. I think I grabbed pretty much everything I could except the high atmosphere, temperature, and barometer report. Lots and lots and lots of science. I love it. 144. Recovered all these parts. No XP gain. You should have got an XP gain from that. Maybe you have to go to orbit to get XP gain. Doesn't matter, because look at all these mission ribbons you got. Or more science points, EVA, Kerbal waters, splashdown of the vessel, and acceleration on 4G. First Kerbal, it's EVA in 0 atmosphere. Build EVA in space. Dangerous EVA while not in a stable orbit. Order for being the first Kerbal in space. Order for completing any significant contract. Order for flying horizontally at Mark 1. Distance, speed, altitude. Lots and lots of awesome stuff. We should have some pop-ups here too that are cool. Data. Data. World's first milestones. Contract complete. Contract complete. Parameter. Contract. Didn't get a pop-up about our stage recovery. Usually you get a pop-up about stage recovery. Oh, now we have lots and lots of science to spend. Don't even have to really worry about what we're spending on. General rocketry, definitely. That lets us really get the parts that are good for orbits. Stuff stabilizers are good too. LD couplers are good for boosters. Aerodynamic ghostkins, also very good. Look at us fairings, which fairings are pretty good. Non-crude objects. Telescope. Yeah, we definitely want this one because there's lots of science parts here. Adapters. Craft 10 more science parts. Storage container. I want flight control. This will give us a SAS, which would be good to get scientists out there. There's also plane parts there. Stability. Grab everything. Right. Now we have some serious parts and we can get some serious stuff done. Contracts. Definitely want to orbit Kerbal soon. You know, definitely do it now, actually. It's very easy. To focus observational study. So a lot of these contracts, just the randomly generated ones, I'm not going to be able to do very easily. These ones you have to go to very specific places on Kerbal, which is doable. I don't know if it's worth the effort that you'd have to put in to do it. Planes are very good for them, but planes also take a really long time to fly around. Measure temperature in flight. Yeah, and that has to be at a certain location too. These ones that you have to test parts are a pain in the ass most of the time. Like this one, we have to test a certain drogue chute at a certain altitude going a certain speed. Now, if it was just an altitude or just a speed, no problem. Getting both of these to happen at the same time, it's almost impossible. I don't know how people do it, but they're pretty impossible. Some of them you don't have to do as aren't as bad. This one we can just test at launch, for example. Solid rocket booster at launch. A stack decoupler at launch. Field decoupler landed. We could grab all three of those, really. Fortuitous on a high G adventure. I haven't seen this before. You have to make these people pass out. Yeah, it's such a pretty big risk. I could probably do it. I'll just go straight up and straight down. Flights. These are all hard. The ones that are at launch site, though, are pretty easy. Need more contracts that we can take at once. Mission control upgrade so we can have 7 contracts. That's a little bit more expensive than that. Landed. Landed. Any more that were landed? I think we got them all. We have 3 things we want to test landed. We also want to orbit Kerbal. Great. Let's test those things landed really quick. They show up as like a different color in your thing, I believe. Although I don't see them being a different color here. You used to change them to a different color when you wanted to test a certain thing. Hammer, solid rocket fuel. I'm not actually going to launch those, I'm just going to take all the fuel and completely cut off the thrust for it. I can test the stack decoupler. I guess these aren't green or blued out because I guess those ended up in our contract screen before we checked it and we researched them and now we just have them. But normally when you take these it gives you a part that you don't have yet. That's why it's not showing up normally here. Time. Don't bother naming it. Literally just a bunch of money for doing nothing, basically. Oh. Complete all 3 of them, though. I wasn't expecting that to fire out so quickly. Hope it didn't destroy anything, or damage anything at least. Data. Just forget this was. Basically just did that for money, but this did something. 5 or more contracts. Huh. We're out of time for this video though. I hope you all enjoyed and have a good day.